From mysterious disappearances of ancient civilizations to the truth behind the Black Knight satellite, here are 10 old mysteries finally solved. Number 10. The demise of the Nazcas. You might be familiar with the Nazca people who mysteriously disappeared and left behind massive geoglyphs in the land. While some are just geometric designs, other geoglyphs depict birds, fish, llamas, jaguars, monkeys, or human figures. The Nazca culture dates from 500 BC to 580. So how did these ancient people possess the proper technology in order to create such intricate designs? It seems far too advanced. How are these lines made in the desert even still here? You would think the wind would have caused these to disappear a long time ago. There is quite a bit of mystery surrounding their disappearance as well, and some might think aliens are involved. Scientists have finally concluded that it wasn't aliens this time. It turns out their disappearance is caused because they cleared out way too many trees for farming, and without the trees, the area became way too arid and difficult to grow food. The trees also enhance the fertility of the area. It's a case of deforestation that went wrong, and now we can see why it's important to not let it happen again. Number 9. What caused the Hindenburg explosion? Everyone was totally stoked to get on the Hindenburg, but it turned out to be one of the biggest disasters ever caught on camera in the 20th century. What exactly caused it to erupt into a fiery inferno? Scientists and historians have often debated the reasoning for the explosion. After all this time, researchers finally came to the conclusion that it was from a faulty gas valve or a broken wire, and a spark of static electricity is what did them over. The unbelievable moment that happened in 1937 wasn't finally solved until 76 years later. The spark of static ignited the hydrogen that was being used. They believe that the mechanism for providing the spark was electrostatic due to how the fire combusted, and after watching the video over and over again. Number 8. The bones of Amelia Earhart. In 1940, bones that were believed to have belonged to Amelia Earhart were found on Nikumaroro, an island in the Pacific. Through extensive research, the bones appeared to match those of Amelia Earhart's structure. No one had any idea what happened to this symbol of woman power. She was the first female pilot who crossed the Atlantic Ocean, but was declared dead after no one could find her anymore. After piecing together a lot of clues, it seemed as though she may have died as a castaway on a remote island. Her and her navigator were seen on radar in June of 1937. When the bones were discovered on the island, they were originally believed to be that of a male's and were lost. After researching the specific sizes of the bones and the ones that were found on the remote Pacific island, many photographs precisely match Amelia's. Recently, people are beginning to wonder if the lost pilot was actually eaten by giant coconut crabs. Although that, of course, is an unproven theory, the island is known for being swarmed with coconut crabs. Number 7. The Tunguska explosion. One of the most well-known mysterious explosions happened in 1908 in the Tunguska region of Siberia. Seemingly out of nowhere, 80 million trees in Siberia were left flattened and charred overnight. And finally, some people believe what on earth happened. This was much before any nuclear technology was available, so it didn't appear to be any kind of testing. Some believe it was an asteroid or a comet that crashed into Earth. It has been quite difficult to prove. Witnesses in the early 1900s said that they thought they saw something fall from the sky, then split into two pieces. It turns out that recently, Cornell University put some pieces together, and it was caused from a comet entering Earth's atmosphere. Water vapor reached extremely high temperatures when it came into contact with icy clouds in Earth's atmosphere. This type of cloud only forms in Arctic regions over 55 miles above the surface. Number 6. Atlantis. Many have spent countless hours trying to figure out exactly where Atlantis could be. Our best known clue of uncovering this mystery is Plato's description. Many believe that there's no way his description could be false since it seems so detailed. In the Atlantis dialogues, he describes a vast, war-waging empire to the west that was far ahead of their time technologically. The civilization was devastated by enormous flooding and earthquakes that led to their demise. But is Atlantis even a real place? Atlantis wasn't really taken too seriously until modern times, which seems to be a result of people not thoroughly reading Plato's work. He apparently seems to be referring to Atlantis as a metaphor as a utopian society and as just a hypothetical city. This allowed for Socrates to have something to talk about and make references to. Something might have gotten lost in translation, or people might have taken what he was talking about a little bit too seriously. It's not too hard to be an expert on a book that not too many people have actually taken the time to read. Number 5. The Pelindaba nuclear raid. In 2007, a shocking raid took place in South Africa when armed men stormed a nuclear facility, getting past several levels of high security and off-duty guards. The thieves went into the Pelindaba Research Center and didn't take the uranium that most people thought they would. Instead, they took a laptop full of top-secret information which could give detailed instructions on how to build a nuclear weapon. The USA was also quite concerned with this, suspecting a terrorist group got a hold of them. But no one knew the true identities of the criminals until now. South African spies gathered intelligence on the situation, and it turns out it was the Chinese who pulled this off. They were after a new kind of nuclear power generation that's used and is under research at the facility, known as Pebble Bed Modular Reactor. This would ultimately be a safer form of nuclear energy that wouldn't pose a threat to humans if there was an error. Who knows what the Chinese are planning with it and what exactly they found. Number 4. Jack the Ripper. This legendary criminal was believed to be the murderer of 5 prostitutes, all of them in London. He was known for the gruesome fashion in which he left the bodies after he was done murdering them. Brutal murders continued to take place, and finally, in October 1888, a news agency received a postcard from someone that took responsibility for the crimes and signed it as Jack the Ripper. Despite countless police interviews, police did not make many arrests. Due to forensic advancements, some people believe that they finally brought an end to the mystery. It seems to all make sense now. DNA was finally taken from a blood-stained shawl relating to the case, and it seemed to belong to a Polish immigrant, Aaron Kosminski. The shawl belonged to a former investigator during that time, and Aaron was indeed the suspect. At that time, there was no way to prove that he actually did it, but now they can. Number 3. Deja vu solved. Ever get the strange feeling of deja vu? When you feel like you might have been in this moment before, but just can't quite figure out where or how? This bizarre feeling is described as deja vu, which is French for already seen. Scientists claim it could have had something to do with memory issues, but it's likely that it means that your brain is checking to see if your memory is working correctly. They actually believe that not having it could be a sign of health problems. So if you have it from time to time, it's a good thing. Brain regions associated with memory conflict seem to be causing this mysterious phenomenon. Number 2. Palmyra. Celebrated as the Pearl of the Desert, Palmyra, located in Syria, was a thriving trade city along the Silk Road, which traded goods as far away as India. Remnants of this city show what mankind was capable of in the middle of the desert with barely any resources nearby. Temples once stood here for thousands of years. It reached its golden age in 260 AD after being a part of the Palmyrene Empire. Archaeologists and historians alike were quite baffled by how the Romans or any ancient civilization could have built such a prosperous city in the middle of the Syrian desert, and for a while there seemed to be no clear answer. How were they able to accomplish such an astounding feat? Roman farming villagers constructed a network of water reservoirs which would collect water from the very few seasonal storms that took place. This collection of water allowed for the cultivation of various desert fruits such as dates. Traders would also take advantage of the difficulty to grow crops here, and they would regularly sell food to the area. And number 1. The Black Knight Satellite. For a long period of time, this mysterious image picked up by NASA has not been explained. Many think it's possibly an alien space satellite that's been spying on us. It's estimated that it's been up there for the past 13,000 years and isn't coming down anytime soon, right? Nikola Tesla even had believed he'd picked up some radioactivity from outer space. The object apparently makes a full rotation around the Earth every 104 minutes. Okay, is this just a bunch of mumbo jumbo? Although aliens probably do have some type of technique for spying on us, it turns out it's actually a thermal blanket left by NASA during the Endeavour mission. It appears as though the Black Knight satellite blanket can be seen being dropped from space and as it tumbles away. Or was it just an alien satellite disguised as a thermal blanket? No, it's really just a blanket, guys. There really is a ton of space debris out there. Nikola Tesla was wrong this time, and they proved in the 1960s that the signals were just pulsars, which are basically radioactivity from galaxies far away.
So which one did you think was the most mysterious? Let us know in the comments section and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video.